Commander Allison Wright jolted awake as her communication device buzzed loudly on the nightstand. The clock showed 3:07 a.m. She grabbed the device and immediately sat up straight when she saw the emergency code flashing on the screen. "Right. Here," she answered, her voice instantly alert despite the early hour. "Commander, you need to get to the command center now," said the voice of Captain Ryan Jones. "Long-range scanners have picked up something big approaching from beyond Neptune's orbit." Allison dressed quickly in her Global Defense Force uniform. The apartment was dark and quiet as she moved through it, careful not to wake her husband. Within 10 minutes, she was driving through the empty streets of Colorado Springs toward the hidden entrance of the North American Command Center. Underground, the command center buzzed with activity despite the early hour. Screens along the wall showed various views of the solar system. Many of the officers looked worried, which immediately increased Allison's concern. Admiral Carter Bennett, a tall man with gray hair and a serious face, stood at the central command table. His expression was grim as he looked up at Allison. "Glad you're here, right?" he said. "We've got a situation unlike anything we've faced before." He gestured toward the main screen where a cluster of red dots appeared near the edge of the solar system. As Allison watched, the computer updated the count. 2,457, 4,028, 6,711, and still climbing. "What am I looking at?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. "Ships," replied Admiral Bennett. "Alien ships, a lot of them." Dr. Henry Park, the lead scientist for the Defense Force, stepped forward. He was a small, thin man with round glasses and the brightest mind Allison had ever known. "The final count appears to be 9,900 vessels," Dr. Park said, his voice steady despite the news he was delivering. "They are in a clear attack formation. Based on their speed and direction, they will reach Earth in approximately 72 hours. The room fell silent. Earth's combined defense fleet numbered only 230 ships. They were good ships, the best humanity could build, but they were hopelessly outnumbered. "Have they sent any communications?" Allison asked. Admiral Bennett shook his head. "Nothing direct, but Dr. Park's team has intercepted some of their internal communications." Dr. Park tapped on his tablet, and a series of strange symbols appeared on a nearby screen. "We've managed to decode some of their language. They call themselves the Kreks, and he hesitated. "They don't seem very concerned about us." "What do you mean?" Allison asked. "From what we can tell, they consider us primitive, barely worth acknowledging. They expect us to surrender within hours of their arrival." Admiral Bennett's face hardened. "Well, they're in for a surprise. We may be outnumbered, but we're not going to roll over." He turned to the room. "I want all ships ready for deployment within 24 hours, all planetary defense systems at full readiness, and get me a direct line to every major world leader. We need to coordinate our response." As the command center burst into action, Lieutenant Sam Rivera approached the main tactical display. He was younger than most of the senior officers, known for thinking outside the box. "Sir," he said to Admiral Bennett, "I've been studying their approach pattern. There's something odd about it." The Admiral raised an eyebrow. "Explain." Sam pointed to the display. "Their formation is perfect. Too perfect. They're moving like they don't expect any resistance at all. No scouts, no defensive screening, nothing. It's like they're showing off." Allison moved closer to the display. "He's right. They're completely exposed. If we had enough firepower, we could cause serious damage before they even reached Earth orbit." "But we don't have enough firepower," Admiral Bennett said grimly. "Not for nearly 10,000 ships." Dr. Park cleared his throat. "Maybe not conventional firepower, but there's the Horizon Project." The room went quiet again. The Horizon Project was the military's most secret weapons development program. Even Allison only knew the basics, that it involved experimental shield technology that could, in theory, neutralize energy weapons far more powerful than anything Earth had developed. Admiral Bennett frowned. "Horizon is nowhere near ready for deployment. The last 3 tests failed." "The 4th test showed promise," Dr. Park countered, "and we don't have many options." While the discussion continued at the command center on the other side of the country, Kate Johnson woke up suddenly in her apartment in Boston. Her heart was racing, and her head was filled with strange images. Massive ships, stars seen from unfamiliar angles, and beings with blue-tinted skin and six-fingered hands. She grabbed her phone and called her brother Daniel. Not caring that it was the middle of the night, he answered on the second ring. "Katie, what's wrong?" "Danny, I had the strangest dream," she began, but he cut her off. "About aliens? Blue skin, 6 fingers, coming to Earth?" Kate's blood ran cold. "How did you know?" "Because I just had the same dream," Daniel replied, his voice shaking slightly. "And I bet we're not the only ones." Back at the command center, Admiral Bennett had made his decision. "Contact the lunar base. I want every military leader and strategic advisor there within 12 hours. If we're going to fight these Kreks, we need a plan that gives us some kind of advantage." As the orders went out, Allison stared at the display showing the approaching armada. The red dots moved with steady purpose toward Earth like a swarm of deadly insects. "They think we're primitive," she said quietly. "They think we'll be easy to conquer." Admiral Bennett stood beside her. "Then they don't know humans very well." "No," Allison agreed. "They don't know us at all." In the darkness of space, the Kreks armada continued its approach, their 9,900 warships moving in perfect formation. On the command deck of the lead vessel, Fleet Commander Vorax watched the blue planet growing larger on the view screen. His six-fingered hand tapped impatiently on the arm of his command chair. "How long until we reach their primitive world?" he asked. "Less than 3 of their days, Commander," his second-in-command replied. "Our scouts report their defenses are minimal. They have no chance against our might." Vorax nodded, his blue skin wrinkling around his eyes as he smiled. "Another easy conquest for the glory of the Kreks Empire. Begin preparations for the invasion. I want this planet secured within 1 rotation of their world." Little did he know that the supposedly primitive humans were already preparing a welcome that would shock the Kreks to their core. The Lunar Command Center was crowded with Earth's top military leaders. Large screens showed the Kreks armada getting closer with each passing hour. Admiral Bennett stood at the head of the main table, looking at the grim faces around him. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have less than 24 hours before the first wave of Krek ships reaches Earth orbit. It's time to finalize our defense strategy." Dr. William Foster, head of the Horizon Project, nervously adjusted his glasses. He was not used to being in rooms full of generals and admirals. His world was one of laboratories and experimental physics. "The shield technology is still unstable," he said. "In our tests, it only worked for an average of 6 minutes before failing." Admiral Bennett frowned. 6 minutes might be enough if we use it at exactly the right moment." Captain Eliza Martinez stood up. She commanded Earth's newest destroyer, the Defiant. She was known for her bold tactics and unwavering courage. "With all due respect, sir, we need to hit them before they expect it. My ship can lead a strike force to engage their vanguard the moment they enter our orbit." Several generals voiced their objections at once. The idea seemed suicidal. Earth's ships were smaller and less powerful than the alien vessels. "Lieutenant," Sam Rivera spoke up from the corner of the room. "Captain Martinez is right. The Kreks are overconfident. Their formation shows it. If we strike hard and fast at their lead ships, we might shock them enough to gain a temporary advantage." Dr. Foster nodded slowly. "And that's when we could deploy the shields. If they work even for a few minutes, our ships might survive long, enough to inflict significant damage." Admiral Bennett considered the plan. It was risky, but they had few options. "Captain Martinez, you'll lead the initial strike force. Lieutenant Rivera, work with her on targeting the weak points in their formation. Dr. Foster, get your shield technology installed on the Defiant and our other frontline ships immediately." As the meeting continued, Kate Johnson and her brother, Daniel, were brought to a secure facility near Washington, D.C. They weren't the only ones. Dozens of civilians from around the world had reported having the same dream about the blue-skinned aliens. A scientist named Dr. Laura Reed interviewed them. "When did these dreams start?" she asked Kate. 3 nights ago," Kate answered. "The night the aliens were first detected." Daniel nodded. "It's like we can see through their eyes sometimes, feel what they're feeling." Dr. Reed looked troubled. We've had exactly 230 people report these dreams. The exact number of ships in Earth's defense fleet. What does that mean? Kate asked. I don't know yet, Dr. Reed admitted, but it can't be coincidence. In orbit above Earth, the first 200 Krex ships appeared. They were massive, each one nearly a mile long with weapons capable of destroying entire cities. They moved into position with mechanical precision, surrounding the planet like predators circling their prey. A message was broadcast from the lead Krex ship. It came through on all frequencies, in 70 different human languages. People of Earth, we are the Krex Dominion. Your planet is now under our control. Surrender immediately and submit to our authority. Resistance will result in your extinction. In the command center on Earth, Admiral Bennett listened to the message with a cold expression. He opened a channel to Captain Martinez on the Defiant, which waited hidden behind Earth's moon along with 30 other ships. Captain, you have authorization to proceed with Operation First Strike. Captain Martinez nodded on the screen. Understood. Admiral, we won't let you down. She turned to her crew. All hands to battle stations, activate horizon shields on my mark, prepare main railguns. The Defiant moved silently from behind the moon, followed by the other ships in the strike force. The experimental shields shimmered faintly around each vessel, nearly invisible against the blackness of space. On the Krex command ship, Fleet Commander. Vorax was surprised when his sensors detected a small group of Earth vessels approaching. They dare to challenge us, he said, amused. Let them come. It will be a good demonstration of our power. He ordered his weapons officer to target the approaching ships. A single warning shot should show them the futility of resistance. Thew. Krex ship fired a massive energy beam directly at the Defiant. Everyone on the bridge held their breath as the beam struck the experimental shield. The shield glowed brightly, but held. The energy from the Krex weapon dissipated harmlessly around the Earth ship. Commander Vorax stared in disbelief. Impossible! Fire all weapons! More beams struck the Defiant's shields, but they continued to hold. Captain Martinez allowed herself a small smile. Target their main weapons array and fire railguns, she ordered. The Defiant's railguns fired solid metal projectiles at incredible speeds. Unlike energy weapons, these physical projectiles passed straight through the Krex shields, which were designed to stop energy attacks. The projectiles tore through the alien ship's outer hull, causing explosions and venting atmosphere into space. The other Earth ships followed suit, firing their railguns at the surprised Krex vessels. 20 alien ships were damaged in the first volley, with 3 completely disabled. Meanwhile, across Earth, strange phenomena began occurring. Ancient monuments like Stonehenge and the pyramids started to glow with a faint blue light. Children worldwide reported having the same dream of blue-skinned aliens looking shocked and afraid. In the secure facility, Kate Johnson suddenly gasped and grabbed her brother's arm. I can feel them, Danny. They're surprised. They're afraid. Daniel nodded, his eyes wide. They didn't expect us to fight back. They didn't expect us to have shields that could stop their weapons. Dr. Reed quickly made notes. What else can you sense? They're calling for reinforcements, Kate said, her voice distant as if she was listening to something far away. They're sending in more ships. In space, the initial success of the Earth fleet was quickly challenged as 500 more Krex ships arrived. The experimental shields began to flicker on several Earth vessels as they reached their time limit. Captain, Martinez knew they couldn't win a prolonged battle. All ships complete your attack runs and return to Earth orbit. We've made our point. As the Earth ships retreated, they left behind 7 destroyed Krex vessels and more than 20 damaged ones. It was nowhere near victory, but it was something no other species had accomplished against the Krex in centuries. On the Krex command ship, Fleet Commander Vorax was no longer smiling. These humans are not as primitive as we thought. Signal the main fleet. We will not take chances. Prepare for full-scale attack. All 9,900 Krex ships began to move toward Earth, their weapons charging. But as they approached, none of the Krex noticed the faint blue glow beginning to emanate from the planet below, a glow that matched the light now surrounding the 230 humans who had been having the strange dreams. The real battle was just beginning. Fleet Commander Vorax stood on the bridge of his massive flagship, watching as all 9,900 Krex warships moved into attack formation around Earth. His 6 fingers tapped against the command console in a nervous rhythm. The humans had surprised him, but now he would show them the full might of the Krex Dominion. All ships prepare to fire on my command, Vorax ordered. Target their major cities first, then their military installations. His second-in-command approached cautiously. Commander, our sensors are detecting unusual energy readings from the planet's surface. Vorax dismissed the concern with a wave of his hand. It's nothing. These humans have primitive technology. They just got lucky with their first attack. Deep beneath the Amazon rainforest, Professor Linda Garcia worked frantically at a control panel inside a massive underground bunker. The facility had been built in secret over 20 years ago, after an alien scout ship had crashed in New Mexico. The ship had contained data about the Krex and their conquests across the galaxy. Activate all nodes in the planetary defense grid, Linda instructed her team. Route power from all backup sources. Around the planet, what looked like ordinary communication towers and weather stations began to transform. Hidden panels opened, revealing advanced technology that had been disguised for decades. In orbit, seemingly normal satellites adjusted their positions. Linda took a deep breath and pressed the final activation button. Let's hope this works. In the secure facility in Washington, D.C., Kate and Daniel Johnson suddenly stood up at the exact same moment. Their eyes glowed with a faint blue light. Around the world, the other 228 people who had been having the alien dreams did the same. Dr. Laura Reed watched in amazement as Kate spoke in a voice that wasn't entirely her own. We are ready. We understand now. Daniel nodded. The connection goes both ways. They can see into our minds, but we can see into theirs. In space, as the Krex ships moved into firing position, something unexpected happened. Gravity around Earth began to behave strangely. The carefully arranged Krex formations started to drift apart as invisible forces pulled at their ships. What is happening? Vorax demanded as his flagship shuddered. Why are we moving out of position? Unknown gravitational disturbances, Commander, his science officer reported. Our engines are at full power, but we cannot maintain formation. The Earth Defense Fleet, though small, took advantage of the confusion. Under Captain Martinez's command, they targeted the now scattered Krex ships with precision railgun strikes. More alien vessels exploded or drifted damaged in space. At the Lunar Command Center, Admiral Bennett received an unexpected communication from a bunker he didn't know existed. This is Professor Linda Garcia of Project Guardian. We've activated the planetary defense grid. It will disrupt their ships' positions and create openings for your fleet to attack. Admiral Bennett was shocked but quickly recovered. Professor, I don't know how you've done this, but keep it up. Martinez, target any Krex ships that come within range. Meanwhile, Colonel Edward Thompson led a small team on a mission that seemed impossible. Their ship was smaller than any other in Earth's fleet and covered in experimental stealth technology. While the main battle raged, they slipped between the scattered Krex vessels, heading for Vorax's flagship. Stay on course, Colonel Thompson told his pilot. Their sensors are focused on the main fight. They won't notice us. His team consisted of just 6 people, including Major Frank Daniels, an expert in alien technology. They had studied the crashed scout ship for years and believed they could infiltrate the Krex command vessel. Their small ship attached to the hull of Vorax's flagship like a parasite. Using laser cutters, they created an entrance and slipped inside. On Earth, the connection between the 230 humans and the Krex grew stronger. Kate and Daniel Johnson found they could see through the eyes of Krex officers, could understand their plans almost before the aliens themselves did. They're going to target the defense grid nodes, Kate said urgently to Dr. Reed. They figured out what's causing the gravitational disturbances. Dr. Reed immediately relayed this information to Professor Garcia and Admiral Bennett. The Earth fleet quickly moved to protect the exposed nodes of the defense grid. Inside the Krex flagship, Colonel Thompson's team moved silently through the corridors. The ship was huge, with ceilings much higher than necessary for the blue-skinned aliens. Major Daniels consulted a small device that showed a map based on their studies of Krek's ship designs. The main computer core should be 2 levels up, he whispered. As they made their way deeper into the ship, they discovered something unexpected. In a large chamber, they found rows of stasis pods containing aliens of different species. But these weren't Kreks. They were representatives of worlds the Kreks had conquered. They're collecting specimens, Major Daniels said in disgust. In another section, they found an even more disturbing sight, a massive artificial intelligence system that seemed to be directing the Kreks operations. Its design was different from Krek's technology, older and more advanced. This isn't their tech, Colonel Thompson realized. Someone else is pulling their strings. Back on the bridge of his flagship, Vorax was growing desperate. The battle was not going as planned. Already, over 300 Krek ships had been destroyed or disabled by the combination of Earth's unexpected defenses and the strange gravitational anomalies. Target their largest cities with maximum firepower, he commanded. We will make them fear us. But before his gunners could comply, alarms sounded throughout the ship. Intruders detected near the command AI, a security officer reported. Vorax roared in anger. How is this possible? Find them and kill them. On Earth, Professor Garcia received new sensor data. Admiral, we've detected an energy buildup in several Krek's vessels. They're preparing to fire on our cities. Admiral Bennett made a quick decision. Deploy the atmospheric shield and tell Martinez to take out those ships at any cost. The atmospheric shield was another secret defense, developed from the alien technology. As the Krek ships fired their energy weapons toward Earth, a shimmering barrier formed in the upper atmosphere. The destructive beams hit the shield and scattered, causing beautiful auroras around the planet but no damage to the cities below. Inside the Krek's flagship, Colonel Thompson's team reached the AI core. Major Daniels quickly connected his device to the alien system. I'm downloading everything, he said. This AI has been manipulating the Kreks for centuries, using them to eliminate potential rivals across the galaxy. Can you shut it down? Colonel, Thompson asked. Major Daniels nodded. I think so, but it might affect all their ships. Do it, Thompson ordered. As Major Daniels initiated the shutdown sequence, the Krek ships throughout the battle suddenly lost coordination. Their weapons powered down, their engines sputtered. On the bridge, Vorax watched in horror as his control screens went dark. What is happening? He demanded. His second-in-command looked terrified. The central mind has gone offline. We've lost control of the fleet. For the first time in centuries, the Kreks were on their own, without the guidance of the ancient AI that had been directing their conquest of the galaxy. And they were facing an enemy unlike any they had encountered before. The tide of battle had turned decidedly in Earth's favor. Chaos spread through the Krek's fleet as ship captains lost their connection to the central AI. For centuries, the Kreks had relied on the artificial intelligence to coordinate their attacks and make strategic decisions. Without it, they were like a body without a brain. Admiral Bennett watched the disorder on the main screen at Lunar Command. Now's our chance. Send the signal to the outer colonies. This order activated Earth's greatest secret. Hidden beneath the surfaces of Mars, Europa, and Titan were human colonies that had been established decades ago. These bases had been built away from Earth specifically to serve as a backup plan in case of alien invasion. From beneath the red dust of Mars, massive hangar doors slid open. On Europa, sections of ice parted to reveal launch tubes. On Titan, hidden facilities powered up and prepared their ships for battle. Commander Alan Wright, Allison's husband and the leader of the Mars colony, gave the order to launch. All ships engage the enemy. Show them what humans are really capable of. The colonial ships were unlike anything in Earth's main fleet. They had been built with technology reverse-engineered from multiple alien crashes over the decades. Each vessel was smaller than the Krek's warships, but far more advanced than what Earth had publicly displayed. Lieutenant Commander Sofia Rodriguez piloted the experimental craft named Nemesis at the head of the Mars fleet. Her ship was equipped with phasing technology that allowed it to briefly shift out of normal space. All ships from Mars colony form up on me, she ordered. Target the Krek's rear formations and cut off their retreat. The appearance of 3 new human fleets threw the already disorganized Kreks into further disarray. Fleet Commander Vorax stared in disbelief at the sensor readings. "Impossible," he muttered. "Their level of technology, they were supposed to be primitive." On his flagship, security forces were closing in on Colonel Thompson's team near the AI core. Major Daniels worked frantically to download all the data from the alien computer while the rest of the team prepared to defend their position. "I need 3 more minutes," Daniels said. "You've got one," Colonel Thompson replied as he heard the sound of Krek soldiers approaching. "Pack up what you have. We need to move." As they prepared to retreat, Major Daniels noticed something unusual in the data. "Colonel, look at this. The AI has records about Earth from thousands of years ago. It's been watching us, studying us." "Save it for later," Thompson ordered. "Right now we need to get off this ship." Back on Earth, the connection between the 230 humans and the Krek's minds grew even stronger. Kate and Daniel Johnson found they could do more than just see through alien eyes. "I think we can influence them," Kate said to Dr. Reed. "Push thoughts into their minds." Daniel nodded. "Fear. We can make them feel fear." Around the world, the 230 connected humans focused their thoughts as one. In space, Krek ship captains and crew members suddenly experienced an overwhelming sense of terror. Many froze at their stations, unable to continue fighting. In Washington, D.C., the President of the United States addressed the world from a secure bunker. "Citizens of Earth, we are in the midst of humanity's greatest challenge. For decades, we have known this day might come. We have prepared in secret, developing technologies and building hidden defenses. Today, we reveal our true strength." The broadcast went out globally, letting people know that the strange events they were witnessing were part of Earth's coordinated defense. Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez's Nemesis ship demonstrated capabilities that shocked even Earth's military leaders. As it approached a cluster of Krek's vessels, it seemed to flicker out of existence. When it reappeared, it was passing directly through a Krek's warship, its phasing technology allowing it to bypass the alien ship's hull. It left destruction in its wake as it disrupted the Krek's vessel's internal systems. "All colonial ships, target their weapon systems and engines," Rodriguez ordered. "Disable as many as possible." In the battle above Earth, Captain Martinez's fleet had regained the initiative. With the Krek ships disorganized and their weapon systems malfunctioning, the Earth vessels were able to score hit after hit with their railguns. "Focus fire on the largest vessels," Martinez commanded. "Take them out first." From her bunker beneath the Amazon, Professor Garcia monitored the planetary defense grid. "The gravitational disruptors are working perfectly. The Kreks cannot maintain their formations." Admiral Bennett received updates from all fronts. The battle was turning into a rout. Already over 2,000 Krek ships had been destroyed or disabled. Many more were trying to retreat but found their escape routes blocked by the colony fleets. On the Krek's flagship, Colonel Thompson's team fought their way back to their ship. They had to abandon some of the data from the AI, but Major Daniels had secured the most important parts. "If we can get this back to Earth, we'll understand how the Kreks operate and why they've been conquering worlds," Daniels said, as they ran through the alien corridors. Behind them, Krek security forces fired energy weapons that sizzled past their heads. Colonel Thompson took a hit to his shoulder but kept moving. "Almost there," he grunted through the pain. They reached their stealth ship and quickly detached from the Krek's flagship. As they pulled away, they saw the massive alien vessel begin to break apart under sustained fire from Earth's fleet. Fleet Commander Vorax realized that defeat was inevitable. His mighty armada was being decimated by the humans he had so badly underestimated. He gave the order that no Krek's commander had given in centuries. "All remaining ships, retreat immediately. Escape the system by any available route." All across the battle, the surviving Krek's vessels began to disengage. But Earth's forces, particularly the colony fleets, were positioned to cut off most escape routes. In the secure facility, Kate and Daniel Johnson felt the Krek's commander's desperation. "They're trying to run," Kate told Dr. Reed. "Should we let them?" Dr. Reed asked. Admiral Bennett considered the question when it was relayed to him. Allow a small number to escape. They need to carry the message back to their empire about what happens when you attack Earth. Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez received the order and adjusted her fleet's position. Create a narrow corridor in Sector 7. Let some of them through. As the battle entered its final phases, the scale of Earth's victory became clear. Of the original 9,900 Krex warships, only a few dozen remained operational. Most were trying desperately to reach the escape corridor that had been deliberately left open. In the end, just 17 Krex ships managed to activate their faster-than-light drives and disappear into deep space. Behind them, they left the wreckage of their once mighty fleet scattered around Earth orbit. The humans had not just survived, they had achieved a victory so complete that it would forever change how Earth was viewed in the galaxy. 3 days after the battle began, a strange silence fell over Earth's orbit. Where thousands of massive alien warships had once threatened the planet, now only debris remained. The 17 surviving Krex vessels had fled into deep space, their faster-than-light drives pushing them toward their home system many light-years away. Admiral Bennett stood in the Lunar Command Center, looking at the main screen that showed the cleanup operation already underway. Earthships moved among the wreckage, collecting valuable alien technology and rescuing Krex survivors who would become prisoners of war. I never thought we'd actually win, he said quietly to Commander Allison Wright, who stood beside him. I hoped we could survive, maybe drive them off, but this... Allison nodded. It wasn't just our weapons or technology. It was everything working together. The defense grid, the colony fleets, the people with the mental connection. We had been preparing for this day for a long time without even realizing it. On the damaged but still functional Krex flagship, Fleet Commander Vorax was not among the survivors. He had chosen to go down with his ship rather than face the shame of defeat. His second-in-command, Sub-Commander Kalax, had managed to escape on one of the 17 ships that fled the massacre. As Kalax's ship raced away from Earth, he recorded a message for the Krex leadership. We gravely underestimated the humans. They are not the primitive species our scouts reported. They have technology that rivals or exceeds our own in many areas. They have mental abilities we do not understand. They were prepared for us in ways that suggest they knew we were coming. For decades, he paused, his blue skin pale with stress and fear. Of our armada of 9,900 warships, only 17 escaped. Earth should be avoided at all costs. The humans should not be provoked again. Back on Earth, cities around the world erupted in celebration as news of the victory spread. People who had huddled in shelters, fearing the end of human civilization, now filled the streets, looking up at the sky not in fear but in pride. In the secure facility in Washington, D.C., Kate and Daniel Johnson and the other connected humans were finally able to rest. The mental link with the Krex had faded as the aliens fled the solar system. What happens to us now? Kate asked Dr. Reed. Will we ever be normal again? Dr. Reed looked at her clipboard. Your brain scans are already returning to baseline, but I don't think any of us will be normal again. The world has changed forever. Daniel looked out the window at the celebrating crowds. We know we're not alone in the universe now, everyone knows. Colonel Thompson's team had returned safely to Earth with the data they had stolen from the Krex AI. In a high-security lab, Major Daniels worked with Dr. Nicole Peterson to analyze the information. This is incredible, Dr. Peterson said as she studied the files. The AI that was controlling the Krex is called the Overseer. It's thousands of years old, created by a species that died out long ago. Major Daniels nodded. It's been using the Krex as pawns, directing them to conquer and eliminate any species that might eventually challenge its dominance. Dr. Peterson pointed to another section of data. And look at this. The Overseer has records of Earth going back 50,000 years. It's been monitoring us, watching our development. But why wait until now to attack? Daniels wondered. Because of this, Dr. Peterson brought up another file. Our development of faster-than-light travel theories in the last decade triggered its protocols. The Overseer directs the Krex to eliminate any species once they reach that technological threshold. In the bunker beneath the Amazon rainforest, Professor Linda Garcia began the process of integrating the recovered alien technology with Earth's systems. Each piece of Krek's equipment would advance human science by years, possibly decades. "We need to prepare," she told her team. "The 17 ships that escaped will return to their empire. We don't know if they'll come back with an even larger force." At Lunar Command, Admiral Bennett convened a meeting with leaders from around the world. The image of Mars Colony Commander Alan Wright appeared on a screen, along with the leaders of the Europa and Titan bases. "The secrecy is over," Bennett said. "The world knows about the colonies now, about the technology we've been developing in secret. We need to unify our efforts going forward." The President of the United States nodded. "We're establishing the Earth Defense Alliance. All nations will contribute resources and personnel. The colonies will be expanded, and we'll build more ships, using the technology we've captured." Commander Wright smiled at his wife Allison on the screen. "The colonies are ready to come home and share everything we've learned. It's time Earth stood united." In orbit, Lieutenant Commander Sofia Rodriguez supervised the recovery of a mostly intact Krex vessel. Her ship, the Nemesis, had proven the effectiveness of the phasing technology that had been developed in the Mars colony. "Careful with that section," she instructed her team. "The faster-than-light drive components are extremely valuable." Earth scientists were already studying the Krex FTL technology, comparing it to their own theoretical designs. Soon, humans would be able to travel to distant stars to meet other species that had suffered under Krex domination. 1 month after the battle, a memorial was unveiled in Geneva, honoring those who had fallen in humanity's first interstellar war. The names of every crew member lost during the conflict were inscribed on a wall of black stone. In front of it stood a statue showing human hands reaching toward the stars. The President spoke at the dedication ceremony. "Today, we honor those who gave their lives to protect our planet. But we also look to the future. The 17 Krex, ships that escaped, carry with them a message to the rest of the galaxy. Humanity will not be conquered. We will defend our home, and we will reach for the stars not as conquerors like the Krex, but as explorers and friends to those who wish for peace." In deep space, the 17 surviving Krex ships limped toward their home. On board, the crews were forever changed by what they had witnessed. In their language, they created a new word: human. It meant those who appear weak but harbor unexpected strength. Within a generation, the story of their defeat would become legend throughout the Krex Empire. And on Earth, humanity looked to the stars with new eyes. They had faced the greatest threat in their history, and not only survived but triumphed. The Uri, technology salvaged from the Krex, would launch a new age of exploration and discovery. The colonies on Mars, Europa, and Titan would grow into thriving outposts. Earth was no longer alone, no longer isolated. It had taken its first steps into Chiu, a larger galaxy, steps that would echo across the stars for centuries to come.